A landlord's job is not only to hand over keys and collect rent. Once a property is rented, the landlord remains responsible for providing a livable place, following the lease, handling required repairs, respecting legal rights, and keeping basic records. Exact laws vary by location, but the core idea is simple. Rent is paid in exchange for safe, usable housing. The first responsibility is delivering the property in the condition promised. If the lease says the tenant is renting a working apartment with appliances, locks, electricity, water, and access, those basics must be available. A tenant should not move in to discover missing keys, broken plumbing, unsafe wiring, or a unit that is not ready to occupy. Habitability is the center of most landlord duties. That usually means the home must be reasonably safe, weather protected, sanitary, and functional. Working heat where needed, safe electrical systems, usable plumbing, secure doors, and protection from serious leaks or pests can fall under this idea. Cosmetic perfection is not the same as habitability, but basic safety is not optional. Repairs are a major responsibility, but not every repair is the landlord's fault. If a pipe bursts because it is old, the landlord generally handles it. If a tenant breaks a window through carelessness, the tenant may be responsible for the cost. The important distinction is cause. Good records, photos, and written requests help avoid arguments later. Timeliness matters. A loose cabinet handle and a major water leak do not require the same urgency. Emergencies such as flooding, electrical hazards, lock failures, gas concerns, or loss of essential utilities usually need fast action. Minor issues may be scheduled. A responsible landlord sorts repairs by seriousness instead of ignoring requests until tenants become angry. Landlords are usually responsible for maintaining common areas in multi-unit properties. Hallways, staircases, elevators, shared lights, parking areas, trash zones, and entry doors affect more than one tenant. If these areas are unsafe or neglected, the problem is not just inconvenience. It can become a safety issue and a source of liability. Security responsibilities depend on the property and local rules, but basic locks and safe access are usually important. A tenant should be able to secure the home. If an exterior lock fails, a gate is broken, or a previous tenant still has keys, the landlord may need to act. Security does not mean guaranteeing nothing bad will happen. It means maintaining reasonable protective features. Landlords must also respect privacy. Owning the property does not mean entering whenever they feel like it. Many places require notice before entry except in emergencies. Repairs, inspections, and showings may be allowed with proper notice, but surprise visits can damage trust and may violate rules. Tenants pay for possession, not just shelter. Clear communication is part of responsible management. Repair requests, rent questions, inspection notices, lease renewals, and deposit issues should be handled in writing when possible. A phone call can be useful, but written follow-up protects both sides. It creates a timeline of what was requested, what was promised, and what was completed. The lease creates specific duties beyond general housing rules. It may say who pays utilities, who handles lawn care, whether pets are allowed, how parking works, and what happens with late rent. A landlord is responsible for following the lease too. Changing terms casually after move-in can create disputes, especially when money or access is involved. Deposits create another area of responsibility. If a landlord collects a security deposit, it should be tracked properly and returned according to the rules after move-out, minus legitimate deductions where allowed. Normal wear and tear is different from damage. A worn carpet after ordinary use is not the same as a burn mark, missing door, or broken fixture. Landlords are also responsible for fair treatment. They should not apply rules differently based on protected characteristics, personal dislike, or pressure tactics. Screening, rent collection, repairs, and renewals should follow consistent standards. Fair treatment is not only ethical, it also prevents legal trouble and keeps rental management from becoming chaotic. Record keeping may sound boring, but it protects the rental business. Rent receipts, repair invoices, inspection reports, deposit records, messages, lease copies, and photos can become important if there is disagreement. A landlord relying only on memory may struggle when a tenant says a problem was reported months earlier or a charge was never explained. Insurance and legal compliance also matter. A landlord may need proper property insurance, rental registration, safety certificates, smoke detectors, or local permits depending on the area. These are not glamorous tasks, but missing them can turn a simple problem into a costly one. A small compliance step before renting can prevent a major dispute later. Landlords are not responsible for everything in a tenant's life. They do not control the tenant's personal belongings, lifestyle choices, or every minor annoyance. A landlord may not be responsible if a tenant damages their own furniture, fails to clean, or has a conflict with a roommate. Responsibility depends on the lease, the law, and the cause of the problem. The best landlord-tenant relationships are built before trouble starts. A detailed move-in inspection, clear photos, working contact methods, written repair process, and honest explanation of rules reduce conflict. When expectations are vague, small problems become personal. When expectations are clear, both sides have something to refer back to. For tenants, knowing landlord responsibilities helps them ask for the right thing in the right way. Report problems early, describe them clearly, send photos when useful, and keep copies. For landlords, knowing responsibilities keeps the property safer and the business stronger. Repairs and records may feel like costs, but neglect is usually more expensive. Responsibilities can also change during emergencies. A burst pipe, electrical hazard, sewage backup, or broken exterior lock cannot be treated like a routine cosmetic request. The landlord may need to act quickly, communicate clearly, and document the response. Waiting too long can turn property damage into habitability trouble and trust damage at the same time. Move-out responsibilities are just as important as move-in duties. The landlord should inspect fairly, compare the condition with move-in records, explain deductions, and return any remaining deposit according to the rules. A vague charge after the tenant leaves can create conflict. Clear photos and itemized costs reduce the feeling that money was taken unfairly. Good landlords also know when to use professionals. Electrical work, gas issues, structural problems, legal notices, and complex insurance claims are not good places for guesswork. Trying to save money with unsafe repairs can create bigger costs later. Responsible ownership means knowing the limits of do-it-yourself management. A landlord is responsible for more than ownership. The real duty is to provide a safe, usable home and manage the agreement professionally. That includes maintenance, privacy, fair rules, deposits, records, and legal compliance. When those basics are handled well, renting becomes less about constant arguments and more about a clear exchange. Housing in return for rent. The safest rental relationships usually have fewer surprises because the duties are discussed early, written clearly, and handled before small maintenance issues turn into larger disputes. A written routine for requests, notices, inspections, and deposit handling prevents many disputes from becoming personal arguments.